Okay, so this video is really a continuation of the beginner car controls. So if you haven't watched that, please just close this video down now and go and watch that one first. But now what we want to do is we found ourselves being able to control our rocket using those standard car controls, being able to go left and right, and you can see it moves a lot more like a car. But now what we want to do is add in proper acceleration and deceleration rather than just having it stop the second I let go of the controls. So let's just park our rocket over here. And the first thing we need to do is we need to create a variable. And we're going to call it speed. Okay, and then we want to decide firstly what the maximum speed is going to be. So we can see here speed 6 for these. It's a pretty decent speed, but maybe we want to increase that a little bit more. Actually, no, we'll leave it 6. 6 is pretty good. So I'm going to have here an if statement at the end, right at the very end here, that says if my speed is greater than 6, change my speed to 6. Okay, and that now makes a maximum speed that we can actually get to. Because now if it gets to 7 or 8 or 9, it's just going to bring it back to 6 anyway. Okay, so now with a car, normally if you have your foot on the accelerator, you're going forward. If you have your foot on the brake, well, you're going to stop very quickly. And if you're doing nothing though, we want the speed to slowly come down. So let's go ahead and do this. Here's our up arrow. So that's going to be our accelerator. So let's get rid of this move. And now we're going to change speed. And we're going to change speed by simply, let's say 0.1. That might be too slow, but we'll go 0.1 for now. Oh, and we better change that to speed. And our down arrow, well, we're going to brake a little bit faster than we accelerate. So we're going to brake at minus 0.5. So it's going to brake quite quickly. Now at the moment, if we run, we can actually see it'll do nothing. Our speed's just kind of going up and it's still going up. Okay, that's interesting. Why is my speed set to that? Okay, let's have a quick look at what's wrong with this code. Okay, let's start by setting speed up here to 0. There we go. And it's growing very, very quickly. Okay, so I had to take a quick pause in the video just to actually fix up a few things because I haven't done this for years in Scratch. So I just needed to have a quick play with it, but here we go. So the first few things that I changed was I accidentally had that set to change. So it actually needed to be set to speed 6, and that was causing that error up there. But the other thing too is I found that the 0.1 was way too fast. So I've actually changed it to 0.0001 and minus 0.0005. And so now you can actually see in the speed that it's slowly going up to 6 and slowly coming back down. The other thing too is that I've gone into the negative numbers here, and negative's okay because that just means reverse, but I can actually go faster. I can go past negative 6. So I need to put in an if statement here that says if I go lower than, so if speed is lower than negative 6, then I'm going to set speed to negative 6. So now I can't go lower than negative 6 as well. Okay, so now all we've got to do is we've got our speed going up and down. We've got our maximum speed set. We've got our minimum speed set in reverse there. We've got our turns still happening like normal. So now all we need to do is actually attach that speed to the rocket. So if I go movement, how many steps, and drop speed in there at the end, now, oh, now it's going exceptionally slow. So maybe that is too slow. Oh, it's because the movements come in there now, and that's slowed things down. So now we want to actually play with these. Oh, now we would put a minus on there. Okay, and the rocket's starting to move there, but still a little too slow. It's actually going to come back to those ones that I originally thought, isn't it? There we go. And we've got blast off. And then if I slow it down, it's going to go in reverse. Okay, now we've got one more thing that we need to do. And that is that when we take our finger off everything, we want it just to slowly come down itself. Now there's two ways to do this. We could actually put an extra variable that ticks over here. Actually, let's go ahead and do it anyway. So we're going to have pressed nothing. Okay, so we've got this extra variable called press nothing. Okay, and we're going to change it. Well, at the beginning of this loop, we're going to set it to 0. And now we're going to change it to 1. Oh, not change it, set it to 1. If either one of these has been pressed. So if the up arrow is pressed, we set it to 1. If the down arrow is pressed, we set it to 1 to actually indicate that we've actually pressed, we've changed its speed somehow. Then I'm going to put an if statement at the end here that says if pressed nothing is actually equal to 0. So therefore nothing was pressed, because it would still be 0. You see, if nothing's pressed, it stays 0. This doesn't happen. This doesn't happen. It just continues on coming down. Oh, that needs to be pressed nothing. It keeps coming down and it gets here, and now it's still 0. And now we want to change our speed by negative 0.1. So now it's just going to slowly coast to a hold. Okay, but now the last thing we want to do at the end of the loop is, no matter what, we want to set the press nothing back to 0. So what we're doing is every loop, where actually we don't need to because it's there anyway. So it's fine, we don't need that. So here we go. So every loop it comes through, it sets it to 0. It checks to see whether it's been changed to 1. If it hasn't been changed to 1, then it actually slows down, and then it loops back and it sets it to 0, ready to go again. So now if we have a look at this, we can, we need to add in another statement because it can actually go into reverse. We can see it's slowing down, but it's going into reverse. So we need to add one more statement in here. We need to have and speed is greater than 0. So here we go. So now we don't want it to end up in reverse. So we go forward, we let it go, and it brings it to a slow halt. So there we go. Okay. And we've got ourselves our motion happening there. There we go. So look, I hope that's given you some really good understanding of car mechanics. It is quite a complicated program, but you can actually see how effective it is. So give that a go, and look, I hope that works really well for you.